So we use your products throughout the facility. One of the big things is we have buy-in from all of our employees using this in the facility. So we have it working in post-harvest, we have it working in cultivation, we have it working in the lab. There's all kinds of questions that arise. The number one question I always hear is the product safe? Is it safe for me to be breathing? Is it safe for me to be around my products? Like we have them hanging in our flower rooms, we have them in our trim room. Does it affect our extracts? Those are the big questions that we always have.
Yeah, fair enough. So let's talk about safety. Really, there's 3 ProKure products, right? ProKure V, which is the liquid product. When you make it at the disinfection level, it's 100 parts per million chlorine dioxide. By rules, you don't really need PPE to spray that liquid. In a room like this, I would recommend wearing a mask. I don't think there's anything wrong with PPE. I think people should be wearing masks, especially people that work in places like this, because exposure after exposure after exposure. So let's err on the safe side, and let's wear PPE. So you're going to wear a mask if you're spraying ProKure V liquid in an enclosed space.
Right. This is different than a greenhouse, right? We don't have the same airflow.
Absolutely, great point. I'd say your real concerns are coming from our gas product, and that's ProKure G. We call it the fast release. And ProKure G is designed to create a human hazard, so to speak. So your room is going to be empty. It's going to be washed, cleaned, disinfected before you start this gas protocol. To activate the pouches, you just simply place it in a small cup of water, but it doesn't act like a bomb and go off instantly. It takes several minutes, probably 15 to 20, before you could really start to even smell it. So plenty of time to set it and leave the space, as long as you've prepped beforehand so that it's sealed and things like that.
Right.
The hazard after that, you're creating a hazardous environment because of the chlorine dioxide gas. So you walk in here and breathe it, it's going to cause you some problems. You're not going to drop dead, but your first walk in, Brett, you're going to be like, ah.
Yeah, it smells like a very toxic pool.
Yeah. But the clear out protocol, so there should be signage, so people don't go in. But let's say you need to go in because you forgot something, need to do something else, whatever. It is a simple cartridge, acid gas, cartridge mask. Half mask will work for short term. I prefer the full mask because the gas does dissolve in liquids really well, and your eyeballs are great for that.
Yeah.
So your eyeballs actually hurt first.
Okay.
Before you even really notice any other effects. So you get a little irritation.
Yeah.
And so we're creating a hazardous environment with that product, and for good reason, but clear that space with air handling. Your grow lights do help that along as well. So really the only PPE you need is if you need to go back in the space.
Gotcha. Yep.
So once you do that clear out protocol, your return entry interval, you should be able to walk right in and clean up, and you're ready to work.
So even if I'm handling and displacing this stuff around the facility, I don't need to wear gloves or masks or anything like that. I can just handle it bare hands and drop it in the liquid and go.
Yes, that's right. The pouches are made of Tyvek, and all the raw materials are inside the Tyvek, so you don't really touch anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Third product.
Yep.
ProKure D, and this one's an extended release, we call. And these are the ones that you hang above your canopy.
Right. Yep.
So these do create a gas, but the idea is it's not a hazard. So they're designed such with proper volume of space that you have them in, that they won't reach the PEL limit for chlorine dioxide, which is really low, 0.1 parts per million. Same PEL limit as ozone, if you will.
Okay.
So these are designed to last for 30 days for this cubic footage, and cubic, right, 3 dimensions. And then there's a nice rotation schedule because it's not electric, it's not anything. It literally just raw materials absorb water out of the air. They make the 2 chemicals dissolve and then create chlorine dioxide. So the gas comes out. So the idea is to stagger them upon activation because it's just mechanical. So they kind of work more in the first 2 weeks than the last 2 weeks, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
if you stagger it out, then you get production from these 3. 2 weeks later, that falls off a bit, and then you get 3 new ones on the other side, and that production comes up. So we're always at a nice constant level of the gas, as opposed to if you just did it once a month, everything, you would get peaks and valleys of concentration. And so we really need to maintain that low concentration under 0.1 to mitigate what we can and have that, you know, chlorine dioxide protection.
Got it. Right on. And what about, how does this affect like the post-harvest areas or and the lab areas where they have open product and that chlorine dioxide is in the air?
Yeah, if you're going to use chlorine dioxide with open products, things like that, the amount of chlorine dioxide that gets into the air is really minimal. So if you think about, you know, a bleach product, or if you think about chlorine being in your flour, like how much chlorine is in there, or anything, right? Fruits and vegetables. It's how much are you applying, right? Because even if I've done the math several times, but if you took every bit of chlorine dioxide that you're using and said it all went into a flour, you would have a hard time measuring it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you could detect the amount of chlorine.
Gotcha.
Right? It does break down into chloride, so like table salt chlorine, if you will.
Okay.
It does take a little time, but yeah, absolutely. I mean,
so if you're worried about testing or even consuming, the chlorine levels are so low, you're never gonna test for them, and you're never gonna even really notice like any, or not notice, but you're never really gonna be consuming them in your end product at all.
Correct. And then to say in the safety world, so your exposure, your consumption of chlorine, like throughout your entire life, your whole days, you know, you walk into a store and they use bleach to mop the floor, you're exposed there.
Right.
Your total chlorine exposure, it doesn't increase, right?
Yeah.
It's a blip in the big scale, right?
Got it. Yeah. Good to know. Thank you.